Scorpio, how you doing? So I actually did your reading yesterday, but I've had to do it again. Why is that? Yesterday was a very strange goddamn day for me, to be honest with you. Yeah, I'd got like threats and God knows what else yesterday. Threats, like threats. Anyway, let's see. Never mind. Let's carry on. I actually got awarded also by YouTube for so many years doing it as well, so that was a bonus. Anyway, 14th until the 30th for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Jupiter. You can also watch this as an Aries or a 4, life path 4 even. But from the 14th until the 30th, I'm not looking at records. It's a piece of paper. Anyone that's schizophrenic or paranoid or God, it's a bit of paper. I don't live in time. I have to keep reminding myself of what timeline I'm kind of like looking at. So there's a piece of paper on the table and it says 14th until the 30th. Half the time I think, man, am I going to have to sit here for like 4 hours trying to explain to people that have PTSD what I'm doing when I'm like 14th until the 30th for Scorpio. King of Pentacles, money, 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 but it's not funny money, but apparently for some people they think that it's funny money. You think you're funny, don't you? Yeah, I'm fucking hilarious, bruv. But like, yeah, someone very, 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 very stable. Okay, good at earning money, business, it could be your father also. Also saying, this is my business and fucking mind your own. And if you don't have your own business, then make one. If you ain't got a channel, make one. If you want to know something, ask. Right, that's what I'm also hearing. 2, there was another 2 that came up here also. So somebody, yeah, 2 of Pentacles, there it is. Libra, possible energies of life paths adding up. You can come to a 2 energy. Life path, add it up. What's it come to? If it's a 2, there it is. Could be a family member, could be business. Could be someone that's facing... Oh, someone's putting me up on charges. Facing charges. Facing charge. Charge! Could be a Taurus. Okay, this could be a Taurus. Could be a life path 5. Possible a Sagittarian, maybe. But yeah. Like, trying to make a decision on what to do for myself. Finally, I'm just going to be me. I am just me, and that's it. And if that's me and thee, then that's me and you. If it isn't, I'm still going to do whatever it is that I want to do. Okay, so I'm stable, so I have to make practical decisions. Practicality, not up in the ethers. So like, right, now I'm going to start thinking practically. Okay, if anyone's got like children and stuff like that, the king would also be very practical because he would make decisions. Is this everlasting possibilities? The possibilities of something being long term. Okay, if it isn't, the king will start to think differently because he would start to think wisely about how far it may be, how far to travel, how far to go. Do I want to travel? Do I not want to travel? But if I am a stable king and I can afford to, sure. But if it reminds me of being like a father or anything like that, then it would require practical decisions of long-term goals. Okay, long-term goals. Because somebody here is waiting for this king to make a kind of wise decision, right? But he would also think of himself, and trust me, this is where I get it in the ear hole a lot of time, right? Where I look at the aspects of being a 7, where I'm kind of like, okay, so now I'm grounded and I've come out of all of the like, okay, there's an option that's presented itself in front of me, right in front of my eyes, and there it is. So because it's there, now I have to start thinking practically about anything, whether it would be long-term or short-term, or whether it be a visit or a long stay or a short stay. So there is also another person on the channel here that says long, short sentence, right? I think someone in the chat there. But a little bit like that. Is it going to be an overnight stay? Is it going to be a long stay? Or is it going to be a short stay? Or like, should I stay or should I go? Should I invest my time into this or not? Because there could be a lot of distance between the person that is between you. Like, so between you and someone else, there is probably discussions or thoughts, but definitely thoughts from the king, whether it's kind of like, you know, looking at long-term goals of relationship, long-term goals of business, something that is stable in one's life also. Okay, so if this is a father or a mother or the other person is, it would be like a father figure. But if there's an energy of like like, I don't really know because I'm unsure, because I don't know whether to get involved because of children or because of the distance and how long that would be, and is that a possibility of life itself at all, because it depends on how far you have to travel. It could be overseas, there could be something that is completely like complete overseas, and it might be where you're working overseas or you're thinking about working overseas, or like, you know, or seeing someone from, because I keep hearing from overseas, okay, so I'm going to oversee it, okay, so it's kind of like this person here is saying, right, I'm going to oversee all of this. So if it is to do with like physical, where it's not in the same country or something like that, it's a king that's thinking more practically, okay, because, you know, if this is like travel and it's like green cards and like visas and travel, then holidays, yeah. But when it comes to long-term relationships, that's what this king is thinking about. Long-term relationship. Is it a long-term one? Is it a short-term one? Is it like, do you know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm hearing for you. So for some of you, this is the guys that are out there. So if you're all girls and you're waiting on this king, that's what this king is kind of like thinking. This is a thinking king, to think practically about what to do about the situation. Now, if you can't stand the person and you hate the person, then your karmic situation is over and you are free. Okay, so I'm also hearing, like, are you free in order to talk? Are you free in order to I don't know if it's reconciliation, because that can also be a 2. So are you free at any time to give me some advice, or are you free at any time in order to talk? Okay, but it would be, the king would start to end up talking very practically, because it would be a very stable person. But not to everybody. Not to everybody would this king be a stable person. Okay. But he would be. Like I said, he would make choices. This is where majority of men, I'm going to say that being one, can get it in the ear roll, because of that they make their choice for themselves. What is practical? What is stable? Is it everlasting? Is it possible to be involved with someone? Is it too far to go, too far to travel? Is their work going to be there? Because some of you, there's thoughts here within this reading of moving, of physical movement, right? And it's like, look, if I haven't got work, or if I haven't got a job, Rob, the name Rob or Robin, if I haven't got a job, then I need to go further afield in order to get one, right? But the king here must have stability somehow, right? So through the message is what I'm picking up, is this king is doing a lot of thinking, but practical thinking, practical, which is the best way to tackle this. Okay, I don't know why I keep picking up like a football player or a try of like two, you know, like try, it's shooter. I don't know what I mean. I don't know. We don't have that over here. Rugby, yeah, we do have rugby. But to score a try, well, we could try. So what I'm hearing, so it's more like, well, we'll see, but there's no outcome. It came up for another reading, and it was like Taurus, I think, 5 energies, and it was like, well, we'll see. You know, we'll see about the possibilities of the future, but the future of a long distance relationship can be extremely difficult. Because I'm also hearing that some of you got children that have gone overseas, like to college or school, and they've gone overseas, right? Or your parents have gone overseas, and because of that, this king is kind of overseeing the whole lot and starting to think practically about distance, because this is both of you, but this is also one energy of thinking about the distance. Okay, the distance. So like, if like say you've got children and they've gone overseas to college, if you meet someone like in the state that you live in, blah blah blah, right, and this 2 is here and you're in this state, and you're kind of thinking, okay, so this person's staying in this state and I'm moving, okay, to go to abroad or work or something like that, and because I am I going to be able to keep up the relationship I am when I work there and you work here, or you live there and I live here? Okay, so if you live in another state and I live in another state, or you live on another planet and I live on another planet, well, then we need a rocket. So then this king is starting to think, well, you know, because of this distance, is it a wise decision here? Because it is, because I'm picking up wise. I need to make a wise decision. I need to start thinking more practically. And that's the only thing I can kind of hear that this king is kind of thinking of, is practical decisions about work and money, but also about relationship. okay? Because like I said, if this is all, I mean, majority of people that watch this are women, right? But like when you've got this king, when this king starts to think about practical decisions, trust me, this is when men can get it in the ear roll, okay? Or very stable women. It doesn't matter really. But for some of you, I am picking up that this is someone here waiting on word about practical decisions from this king, okay? Because this king here wouldn't be all ooey gooey soft, and I mean, if this is like Scorpio, right, say if this is you guys Scorpio, right, you would be really kind of like, okay, now I really have to start thinking about what I want, okay, what's going to be best for me in the long term, right, in the long term, because I do actually have a lot of male followers as well now. Scorpio from the 14th into the 30th, from the 14th into the 30th, from the 14th into the 30th for Scorpio. Single, there you go. So it's someone that is single, but it isn't. It's kind of like this, like I said, it's like dating. But the trouble is people don't go dating. Because it's single. The 9 energy here is also single, but available. But there's a decision within this too. And the decisions are normally when it comes down to, because both of these energies here are practical thinking. They're both earth energies. So they're both, should be thinking practically, but it's kind of like this 9 energy here is waiting to get word from this king, right? It's waiting to get word from this king. So this could also be your parents or your father or your mother and trying to wait to get word from, okay? And it could be business related, but for a lot of you here, I mean, you could already be in a relationship with the king, but for some of you out there, you're kind of watching because you're kind of single, but you're curious, right? Very curious about becoming very stable, but trouble is, it's not the trouble, is this that, well, there is. It's because there's distance. It's because there is distance. You know, trust me, like me and my ex, you know, there was only 8 miles between me and my ex, and that was a problem. That was a fucking problem as well. Like, you know, there was always problems in any kind of relationship. And I really do think that majority of this thoughts, what I'm hearing, is coming from this king energy here. Because distance is always a problem. Let's see. Because, like I said, even this 2 is, I'm also seeing it now, this 2 is also thinking, should I just stay single? Should I come? Should I go? Like, holiday trip, work trip situation. Should I stay as I am? Or do a Kurt Cobain? Right, but should I stay as I am? Or should I, should I stay single and just kind of like browse? Okay, browse, like might be swipe left, swipe right, you know. I don't know, whatever that fucking thing is that people use. Like dating website. Should I go dating? Should I stay as I am? Should I stay single? Or should I go for it? Right, here. Because this 2 is coming from both energies. It's kind of like this, well, I'm single, but I've got my eye on the king. But the king is thinking, well, should I stay single or not? Because this is kind of like not seeing someone. This is like talking to someone, but not actually girlfriend, boyfriend, well, unless it's husband or wife. But if you are, you might feel single in it at sometimes, right? But like, I'm waiting to get word first because it's kind of like that you're waiting for someone or you are seeing someone, but you're not actually in a relationship. Like because like to get into a relationship, there are so many factors that require a relationship. There really are. You have to spend time with the person. You have like a lot of time before you rush into any kind of commitment. You have to, you have to talk to each other, but you have to see each other. There has to be, what it's like to be around the person for a lot. When you get a Scorpio energy, fuck, bruv, that can be very fucking difficult. Is to be around a Scorpio energy majority of the time, right? Because I'm a rising, and 12th and first house and North Node, but like, it's kind of like this single, but not dating, but interested in someone. But you've got Virgo energies, 9 here. And because 9 also means moon of the mother, this is also a cross comparison of this being yours or their parents, the King of Pentacles. Because it's kind of like what I'm hearing is this where the parents are discussing something about this situation. So it's kind of like some of you have been introduced to siblings, parents or children. Because I'm seeing it from both angles really. This 2 is kind of throwing me off a little bit. Well, not throwing me off. It's kind of like parents have been told, but some haven't. Is this where someone's parents, they're not together anymore here? Like, this is your parents, and that's a single... I mean, unless you've got kids, and you are a single parent. Like, you've got children, but you don't have the father in your life. Because I can't quite pick up... Like, this king is obviously a paradox energy, so you get other elements within an earth sign because of the numerology, right? So if you don't know, videos explain it below. So obviously if it's Capricorn, it's a Gemini, because it would be 6. If it's a Virgo, it's there, it would be a 9. If it's a Taurus, it would be Taurus, but also Sagittarius, within placements of a father or husband. And this is why I'm picking up that this kind of conversation between these two here is like single, but with someone. Strange. Let's see. Scorpio. From the 14th until the 30th for Scorpio. The Queen. Oh, King Joffrey Joffrey. Coming to America. So the king and the queen, they're on like a face-off of being single but together. See, a king and a queen is a counterpart move. Everyone will say the king and the queen is the most strongest. No, it's a chess move. It's a move. It's a financial decision. It's a financial move, and it is also a possibility. But if it isn't a possibility, it means that you're already together. And what that does mean through paradox of what a counterpart means is that your mother and father are more likely together, or the other persons are, but they're also at a distance. This is a couple also that are single in a long-term standing marriage or relationship, but spend more of the time feeling single within the relationship itself than what they actually do together. This is yours or their parents, because it's either a single parent, and that's a single parent mother, okay, a single parent mother, but their mother or your mother they're also like single in a marriage, which means they stay together for money, because there's a lot of money here, because all of this is pretty much about money. So there's money, like a very successful business, a very successful family, a very successful job yourself and the other person more than likely. But the thing that's throwing me off is that this is their parents and your parents, and the decision is yours. Cilla Black. It's like a screen that's there, and you either haven't never seen the person. Well, if you've never seen a person with your own eyes, then what do people expect when other people are kind of like, no, fuck that. You've got to see someone with your eyes to know who they are. And even though you can see them with your own eyes, you have to spend time with them. You have to spend time with them physically. Human, same situation, human, right? Because a lot of people get into these fucking odd intergalactic non-human experiences, right? Because there's a grounded energy here, but there's also a decision between it of being single or not, right? So, like for me, for instance, and I said this in another reading, and it's very true, it really is. I'm a life path 7, right? So it comes up as Cancerian. So a 7 of Cups, even though it's not here, 7 of Cups is very much like metaphysical, right? And it always comes up with of an option, because Spirit will always put things right in front of your lap when you manifest, right? They'll put that right in front of you of an option for you to choose and take that's more stable for yourself, right? But the reason why people also get very fucking pissed off also with 7 energies is because they will also then ground the energy into the 7 of Pentacles and start thinking practical decisions about life and money and blah, 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 and so on and so forth. And then when they start using the 7 of Swords and they're kind of like, man, I really don't know. Other people, and this has happened to me so many times, people end up thinking that you're a complete fucking asshole in life because you end up thinking, now, hold on, for 1 minute I was right up in the clouds, in the mushroom cloud of a 7 of cups. Okay, and I manifested it, sure. But when it comes to practical decisions, my life path gets to blame because I'm a 7. So when I start to go towards the Scorpio rising side and the 7 of Swords, and I start to think, okay, what's practical about should I stay, should I go, should I come, should I not, should I do all of those? I get loads of people, I've never fucking seen people, like I don't even know if they're from outer space or not, I've got no idea. So I'll be like, now this is starting to feel very dangerous. It starts to feel very dangerous, right? Because trust me, I don't even need to fucking see some people. But like, you know, it feels very dangerous and it feels wrong for myself. So as a fish, with Scorpio in the chart, you get fucking blame all over the place, man. People start fucking, you arrogant fucking asshole for thinking about yourself of other things that are more important than you being a stable person to make a wise decision, that you don't want me? Because that's why this is also here, right? Because this might be where you're watching it and there's a paradox energy of your mother or your father having that energy of 4 of Aries or Scorpio or life path 4 within it, okay? And it feels like this, because it's not really here, but it is, because I don't need cards. But it's like this feeling of like you arrogant arsehole, you have everything in life that is really stable, but why is it that you don't want me and you're single? Why is it that you don't want me and you're single? Well, it might be because generally someone starts to think about practical decisions of whether that's possible or not, right? So, because there's a counterpart here, but like I said, a counterpart is a movement towards marriage or commitment or long-standing relationship. It's just tarot readers that have thrown all that jargon out there because they normally say, oh my God, this is your strongest counterpart. No, it actually means that these people that they're doing readings for actually are their parents, or they are actually in a relationship, married, blah, blah, blah. But they're single. They're single, right? So when it comes to spiritual stuff of practicality, it normally means, okay, through this too, I really do need to start thinking more practically and wise about long-term decisions and long-term goals, so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. Strategic move. Is it possible? Because of movement of distance. Movement of distance. Right, because that's what this 2 means. It means, okay, do I want to stay single? Do I want to stay here where I live? Or do I want to travel to work? Or do I want to travel over to the person and see? Possibility, okay? But there's a connection. And that's the trouble, where sometimes if the other person isn't very grounded, that you might be grounding your children here, I don't know. But if they're not very grounded, you have to have a very good contrast of like, okay, right, we need to start like thinking more logically, really. And if someone isn't grounded, this is where this can end up being blamed, right? Blamed. Because of distance, because of the unknown of what distance can cause, right? Trust me, distance can really start to cause a fucking hell of a lot of problems when going into a relationship. Because there seems to be a hell of a lot between this king and this, where like it's being shared, right? So I'm also picking up drug addiction or anything that has to be shared, right? Like AA and blah blah blah, and I want to share, and I want to spend my time, and because I'm also hearing I want to spend my life with you. So if you're not, there's a lot of energy of this feeling as if we've been sharing quite a lot, but I've been saying this for quite some time, and even I get into those through my life path and spiritual calling. I can also get into those a lot myself. Trust me, I do. Okay, where your calling calls you in a certain direction and you're there, and then when you start thinking about practical decisions, other people don't think as practical as what you do. They have to have a good understanding of you thinking practically. If they do, it works. If they don't, that's where you get a contrast of this too, about there being a decision of either remaining single or as a couple already. But for some reason I keep thinking that these 2 people are not together. They're not actually committed into a relationship. But for some of you, you're married already, or common law man and wife, where you've basically been married for fucking ages, or you had children together and you're not really together with the person, you just coexist in a family setting. Okay. Oh. Because even though a card doesn't express that, It does to me. That's how I read. Because it tells a story. 14th. Because 2 is always about a wise decision and a practical decision to whether to stay single or not, or whether to actually go for it. But there is something here that's bothering me, not bothering me, but it's bothering me not knowing what this 2 is, because it's still a decision. It's still facing this king waiting for a decision to make it, but it's single. So it's kind of like, well, do you want to go out on a date or not? Shall we go, shall we do something? That kind of energy, right? Let's see. Because it keeps giving me not a strange vibe. I keep looking at it. Because 9 means that I'm single and a lady of leisure and I can do what I want when I want, right? And it means that. And it can also be where you can yourself, where you're a man of leisure or a lady of leisure, and you're possible to do whatever it is that you want in life. But it is also single. Health, all that kind of stuff, looking after my health, fitness, so on and so forth. But there's still an energy of being single but together. So it's kind of like you're talking with someone. But it should be about practicality. Let's see, 14th into the 30th. Show me the other person connected to Scorpio during the 14th into the 30th, the other person. The lovers, Gemini, 6. So this could also be parents that are involved or grandparents. And there is a connection here. But there are decisions. Now it's either for some of you where the lovers is an unrequited love situation, because of this being the father or the mother or both of you, of like a connection but unrequited love. And that might be a reflection that you see between your parents or their parents. Because when you do readings, when you get involved with someone, right, every reading, when you suddenly become involved with someone or a soul group, and when you become involved in a soul group, I am a soul group reader. And that's why I do numerology, because it shows me what you see and witness and the possibilities of life being in a new soul cluster. I used to do soul group cluster readings. And it's that same reading really, but a soul group cluster, right? It means a bunch of souls that are coming together to learn about possibilities of unrequited love or being single but have connections. So grounding the energy to make it possible for the future, because if it isn't, you're already in it. You're already here. And if you are already here or you're not, then your parents, right? And that they are struggling around unrequited love because they stay together for money, don't they? Right? Oh, Taurus, Sagittarius. Taurus or Sagittarius on the other side. See, it's business related, but it is a divorcee, coupled, married, non-married. Like, someone that's been married for a very long time. They've possibly had children together, but they stay together for the kids, or they stay together for something financial. They don't talk much. They don't get on. They don't talk much. Okay? Or this is a single parent situation, but this is their parents here. This is their parents, or I don't know why I keep picking up a lot of parent activity, which means that there's possibilities. Like I said, when I read soul groups, this is why I can get like complex a lot, because these would all relate to numbers, as this being a Sagittarius Taurus, and then these both would be the same. Taurus would be here, but that would be a Sagittarius. Virgo, so that would be on its own of 9, which is there, and then you've got Capricorn, which is 6, Gemini, and there's that energy there. Okay, so you and all of these people have those placements within you and their soul group. That's what I'm trying to say to everybody, right? And there are decisions where you or these people are in an unrequited love situation. And even if it's a person where you're kind of like, okay, this is sort of my person, there's an energy here of like I said, an energy that's coming up as a non-committal energy because it actually isn't in a relationship. So take out the factor of this being parents, your parents or their parents. If you've got like kids, children, in fact, right, and say like you're an Aries or a Scorpio and you've got children and they are going through something, that's a reflection of this reading, right? So it shows you within a soul group that there are people here that are talking, but they are single, but there's an energy here that could be reflected as a whole soul group lesson of uncommittal, non-factored relationship. Because it isn't actually in one yet. It's not actually in one, right? Unless, I can't tell you you're not in a fucking relationship if you're in one, right? But this tells me equivotably that there isn't one. And that there's a connection, but there isn't a seeing of eye to eye. We don't see eye to eye. We argue, we bicker, we fight, blah, blah, blah. And we coexist in a family that stays together for money and commitment. But there isn't a commitment. That's why I'm finding this very difficult to know that this is a lesson that is also reflected for a soul group. Because the two people that may have a connection of lust or like a passionate lust energy, lust requires trust. So it's more of a divine connection of lust, but lust can also lead into non-trustworthy energies of where a pig-headed person can get the blame for not wanting the energy, for not wanting a relationship, because there would be required a fucking lot within this one card that remains upside down, right? Which means meetings, business meetings, travel. It means education and work. But it also means that I really need to be and experience what this is like in a relationship, living with the person for weeks, right? Because you can even get in a relationship and you're like, yeah, we have a good relationship. And then you stay over at the person, right? You live with the person and you start to realise, oh, right? Because some people can go straight into a relationship and they jump straight in, right? And then when straight into the relationship, they can, like I said, it's not a bad scenario. It's just that what I'm saying is, in order to learn about the possibilities of relationships to come out of the ooey gooey and fairy stuff, you have to physically be in this first to be able to make a wise, practical decision. And this came up in a Cancerian reading, I believe. I think it was, I'm not sure. But I was talking a lot about the same thing, about wise practical decisions, because I would do this because this is in my 7th house of relationship, partnership. So me, I always come across to everybody that I'm uncommittal in the end. Why is that? Because my rising is Scorpio. So when I was a kid and I was a child, I was all up for like, oh man, I'm going to get married, I'm going to have a fucking house and a home and marriage and children, and that's what I wanted when I was a kid. But then when I started to come from Taurus to Scorpio rising, this started to be I don't want to get married, I don't want children. Y'all fucking heard me for a long time say never get married, never have children. The majority of people that you see in life, they really struggle when they're married with relationships and kids and blah blah blah, and they take on responsibility of mortgage, house and home. But this isn't my fault, because my rising is Scorpio. And this is why a lot of people see me as arrogant, stubborn and pig fucking headed, because of my condition of Scorpio from rising of Taurus. So they'll see me as very argumentative, right? Because I don't have the same values as what other people do. I have values to myself, but I can't help being a Scorpio rising because it's fucking difficult. Any of you out there, Scorpio rising, 1st house, 12th house, okay, Neptune in the 1st house, but like, yeah, difficult, right? Difficult. Practicality is what you will end up thinking, but within a Scorpio energy. Practical decisions of the possibilities of what that would end up feeling like in a full-time committed married relationship. Okay, so then you will look at your parents and you think, okay, well, was my parents ever really happy in a married relationship? No, because they're sort of divorced, right? So to find commitment within any fucking Scorpio, really, it's like this impossible mission. It's like an impossible mission. Because as a Scorpio, you can have a lot of lust and a lot of trust and everything else, but to gain that trust of a Scorpio, you have to kind of like be in that relationship with a Scorpio, because they could soon start feeling rotten, like the energy's going stale, because they represent the death card. To death to us part. But if that's a Taurus, that's parted. If that's till death do us part, and that's a Scorpio, they would start to think, I don't want to get married. Seriously, I don't want to get married. Because that would be death to us part. Scorpio, Taurus did get married, divorced. Scorpio don't want to get married. Y'all get me? Well, are you any of you guys out there, or is it just fucking me? Right? Do you see what I'm saying? Taurus, yes, marriage, commitment, children, work, business, education. But the thing is with Taurus energies is that you would strive for legacy. So this is also what grounds me as well, because you still have access to, obviously, the latter part of your descending sign. But, you know, you have a legacy of business and work, and that you can create business and jobs and money and fucking everything else, and it can really remain stable to control a job the way you want your own job to go. This is why you could be very entrepreneurial and have like a fucking huge business and job, and your job works out brilliantly. And this came up around Aries a while ago, where I said my job and my money and my fucking everything else is fantastic, but my relationship is fucked, right? So that is that aspect. That's kind of like, okay, I'm a fucking determined, like, entrepreneur, woman or man or both, right? But it's kind of like that, okay, I've controlled my life the way I want it in my work, but people are not things. People are not things. They have a mind and they have feelings of their own. Definitely when you're coming up with Scorpio, they have a feeling and a mind of their own. But everyone says, well, people's minds change daily. So does your energy of your feelings as well. They can change daily. And that's why this is the energy of like, okay, divorced or don't want to get married. So it would be where everybody is starting to think practically about, is this love or is it lust? Okay, is it love or is it just lust? But it would also require trust. Trust. Okay, because if you guys have been on this for a while with this same person and you don't trust the person, then, you know, why are you with the person that you don't trust, right? So it don't always mean trust. It just means that it's a broken relationship. Okay, but I think the main factor there for you, Scorpio, really is what I'm trying to say about the energy of these being parents as well as you guys. But Taurus, upright, yes, I would get married. I love to get married. That's what I think of, blah, 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 so on and so forth, right? But Scorpio would be the opposite to that. That's why you can clash like the Titans, because you wouldn't see it the same way as a Taurus person in a placement of. Okay, in a placement of. But it was still stable, still extremely stable. But I don't know whether you would get respect from this or not. I don't know. More than likely, depending on like argumentative energies, because they're not really here. Depends if you see eye to eye or not of practicality. Because if this is a marriage, you wouldn't see eye to eye. If this is family, you wouldn't see eye to eye. If it was a friend, more than likely, because you wouldn't have to be around them all of the time to have that aspect of what Taurus can do around jobs and money and fucking success of business. But when they learn to control people, to mould you into like I did my business and my job, to help you grow, I need to control you to grow. But when you've got kids, children, grandparents and parents, y'all get more of a fuck no. Right? No. Right? This is why this is a no. No. Okay? So I don't know where or who that's coming from as a message for you, because there's a lot of people here. There's a lot of people here. Okay, so that's your reading so far, Scorpio. Sorry about the beginning bit of me babbling, but fuck, I had a hell of a day yesterday, bruv. I really did. This is the threats of people. I don't get it. Like, I don't. Like, on earth possesses people to think that I stole their phone, their money, their property, their house, their home. Threats that I've been... Fuck, bruv. It's quite simple. Stop watching goddamn tarot card readings. Don't watch me, but you annoy yourself. I'm a medium. Can't say this every time. Of course I'm going to pick up names, stories, placements. I'm a psychic. That's the whole point. It freaks people out and they get paranoid to shit. They get paranoid to shit and they think that I'm talking about them. Right? If it's relating with you and it's fucking hitting a nerve, or yeah, I'm your greatest trigger to hit a nerve within certain things when you start thinking practical. Right? But some people, they sit in the background there and they're like, I don't know, coming up with 2 and 2 and putting like 58. It's just, oh fuck it, let's put 2 and a 2 in there. Let's just come up with 58. Bollocks to it. It doesn't add up, but fuck it, let's just do that. You know, like jumping straight into like, oh no, my God, I just jumped to a conclusion straight away because that's what I thought it was. Like, calm your fucking selves down, Taurus, Sagittarius. Right, now I'm going to jump straight to a conclusion. Fuck. There's a person that came at me in that reading, I think, here also. Come straight charging at me. You disgusting, arrogant arsehole for talking about drugs. It was quite present in the goddamn Cancerian reading because people had died from it. Right? Just like, man, stop watching it if it winds you up. I mean, are people stupid or what on a public known channel? Are people that stupid to just sit and wind themselves up, just coming up with all of this mad shit in their heads? And you're like, no, we don't see it that way. Bro, fucking write a book about it. I don't know, you might get a bestseller out of that. Right, anyway, I don't know where I'm going with that, but yeah, that was my day yesterday. Everybody coming out of the woodwork. So I did the Scorpio thing. Right, everybody out. I'm not even going to explain my fucking self to people that are like paranoid and fucking... Is it you? Is that... Bruv, fuck. I ain't got time to explain, Felicia. Like, stop getting paranoid. Right? You can't stop someone from being paranoid, but you can protect your own energy of like, right, fuck it, I'm going to have to come up as an arsehole. Because I've said to you this before, and I told you again, and again, and again. Do I have to tell you again? No. So, out. Right? Scorpio. Taurus also. Okay. So, there you go. So, yeah. So, if you want to join, you can. It'll be the full access bundle only. You can find the link provided below. It will tell you all about it in the video if you haven't joined. Make sure you use the app if you've joined, and if you've not joined, you can find the link to join. But it will only be the full access bundle, okay? You'll see all about it all over there. If you want a personal reading, you can reach out from the link below. I have also made a new Angel Radio. I deleted some of it because the other one was shit. And man, I really, really like this new track. So that might be very soon. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm also a music producer. So if you like free music, you can also go over to the other channel that says Angel Radio below, or it might be Lucid Dream Tarot Card Music. It used to be called that, but Angel Radio. It's another channel, free music, music mastering, productions, videos, visual art, messages through music. If you like it, go and try it. See what you think. There's a load over there, and there'll be more put out soon. Okay? Thanks very much, Scorpio. Really appreciate it, and I'll see you over there.